I thought I was just another boy sold to a cruel plantation, another nameless body to be broken. But I quickly learned the horrors ran deeper than I imagined. Predatory eyes, whispered threats, and the twisted games of those who believed they owned everything, even my soul. Fear ruled me at first, but it lit a fire instead of extinguishing it. Every cruel act they committed, every secret I overheard, became a weapon. And when the time came, I would turn their arrogance, their cruelty, and their so-called power against them, quietly, patiently, mercilessly. I woke to the sharp crack of a whip and a shout. "Move, boy." The sound ripped through my chest like fire. My hands were raw, my body aching from the journey here. "Where am I?" I whispered to no one. No one answered, just the low moans of others in the holding pen. A tall man approached, coat dark as night, eyes colder. "Hawthorne," someone muttered. I flinched. The man's gaze pinned me, stripping me bare. "You come here," he barked. I obeyed, my legs shaking. "Name?" he demanded. I'm Isaac," I stammered, though I felt my soul slipping. He studied me, lips tight. "Keep your eyes down, boy. Don't think for yourself. That's trouble." A sigh came from behind. "Ignore him, child." Eyes down, mouth shut, mind open. I turned to see an older man, his back bent but his eyes sharp. "Samuel?" I asked. "Samuel," he said. "I've been through what you're about to. Watch and learn. Don't show fear, hold it inside. They smell weakness." I nodded, swallowing hard. The fear in my throat burned. "But I don't understand. Why here? Why me?" He gave a crooked smile. "Because you're alive and they think they own that. They don't yet know what fire can hide in a man." I glanced at the grand house ahead. White curtains swayed, women laughing softly. Something in their eyes made my stomach twist. Not kind eyes, hungry, calculating. I looked back at Samuel, trembling. "Don't look, boy," he whispered. "Keep your head low. You'll see things you won't believe. But survive and you'll remember me." Hawthorne's voice cut through again. "Move." He cracked his whip near my feet. Pain seared and I flinched instinctively. I'm moving," I said, forcing my legs to obey. Samuel's hand brushed my shoulder. "Good. Remember, every step, every word, every look, they're watching. You must watch too." As we walked through the plantation, my mind spun. The field stretched endlessly. Men and boys bent over the soil, faces weary. A girl's laughter rang from the house. Not innocent, it was something else. I swallowed, fighting nausea and anger. "Don't let them see your fear," Samuel muttered. "Fear makes chains heavier." I clenched my fist. "I won't. I can't." My voice shook. "Good," he said. "That fire, don't let it die. Hide it, but never let it go out. That fire, it will be your only weapon." And for the first time I felt it, not safety, not hope, but a spark deep inside. Something small, fragile, but mine. I thought the first day was the worst, but the next morning proved worse. "Get up," a voice hissed. I opened my eyes to sunlight cutting through the wooden slats. My body ached, but fear pushed me to obey. "Follow me," Samuel said, already waiting. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "Stay close. Watch everything, remember nothing, speak only when needed." As we walked toward the main house, a shadow fell across my path. Well, a woman's voice purred. I looked up to see Madeline Hawthorne, her dress white as silk, her gaze dangerous. "And you are?" she asked, tilting her head. "I'm Isaac," I stammered, bowing my head. She smiled, too wide, too knowing. "New, aren't you? Handsome too." Her eyes lingered far too long, and I felt a chill crawl down my spine. Samuel muttered under his breath, "Ignore her. She preys on fear, boy. Don't let her see you." I won't," I whispered, but my stomach twisted. Later I met Isaiah, another boy my age, in the fields. "You survived the house?" he asked, voice low. I think so," I replied, glancing toward the main building. She looked at me like she could see right through me. "Ha," he scoffed. "You're naive. She does that to every boy. Some disappear. You'll learn quick, or you won't last a week." "What do you mean disappear?" I asked, panic rising. He shrugged. "Boys go to her, or she sends them somewhere. They never come back. Don't ask questions. Don't fight." That night, I lay under the stars, Samuel sitting beside me. "Do you know why they choose you?" I asked, voice trembling. "Why?" he echoed. "Why her? Why this place?" He shook his head slowly. "It's not about you. It's about power, control. They think owning bodies gives them everything. But it doesn't. Keep your mind yours, boy. That's the only thing they can't touch. I clenched my hands trying to understand. I can't let them. You can, he said softly. You can survive. But first you must watch. Learn. Hide your anger. Don't let them see it yet. That fire inside? It must wait. The next day I was called into the house again. Madeline's eyes followed me, her smile sharp. Come closer, she said sweetly. I obeyed reluctantly. Do you understand your place? She asked. Yes, ma'am, I said, voice barely steady. Good. Keep your head down and maybe I won't notice your cleverness. Her laughter echoed behind me as I left. I swallowed the fear twisting my throat, trying to remind myself of Samuel's words. Hide, observe, survive. Every step I took felt like walking a tightrope over fire. Back in the fields, Isaiah watched me. She likes you, he said. Careful or you'll end up like the others. I won't, I whispered, clenching my fists. I won't. Samuel's words echoed in my mind. That fire, it will be your only weapon. And I realized he was right. I wasn't just a boy being used. I was a flame waiting to burn. The days blurred together, each one heavier than the last. I was sent inside the house more often, carrying dishes, wiping floors, always under Madeline's gaze. Careful, Samuel whispered one morning. Eyes down. Don't give her a reason. I try, I said, but my hands shook as I arranged the silver. Madeline appeared suddenly, her perfume sweet and suffocating. You're slow, she said, tapping her finger on the tray. Do you always tremble so? I'm sorry, ma'am, I stammered, bowing quickly. She leaned closer, voice soft, almost a whisper. You have potential, boy. Don't waste it by being scared. Show me who you are, quietly. My stomach churned. Quietly? I asked, though my fear made my voice brittle. Quietly, she repeated, smiling, eyes glinting. Learn quickly or it will be painful. Later, in the servants' quarters, I found Isaiah sulking. She's testing you, he muttered. Don't be an idiot. Play along. I don't know what to do, I admitted. You survive. That's it, he snapped. You think I like seeing boys go missing? I don't. But I'm alive, aren't I? I nodded, but my heart pounded. Survival felt cheap and yet necessary. Then Clara appeared carrying a basket. Isaac, she whispered, eyes darting, don't trust anyone. Not here. Not even him, she said, nodding at Isaiah. Keep your mind. Keep your soul. I'll try, I said, gripping the edge of the table. Her concern felt warm, a flicker of light in the dark. Samuel found me that evening inspecting my hands. You're learning, he said. But you must also protect your heart. Trust is dangerous here. I'm trying, I said, voice low. But it's hard not to hate. Not to want revenge. He sighed. Good. That fire inside you, remember? Let it grow, but don't let it burn you yet. Study, wait, and remember, patience is power. A commotion came from the main hall. I peeked through the doorway. Hawthorne's whip cracked across Samuel's back. He fell, gasping. You mustn't question, Hawthorne barked. Or you'll end like him. I swallowed hard, stomach twisting. My mentor, beaten, and yet he nodded at me, silent encouragement to survive, to learn. That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, haunted by the day. Isaiah muttered in his sleep, dreaming of freedom, but I couldn't. Not yet. I had too much to understand, too much to endure. Clara's words echoed softly in my mind. Keep your mind. Keep your soul. I clenched my fist. I will, I whispered to the dark. I will survive, and I will be ready. For the first time, I realized that fear was not enough to break me. Rage and cunning were rising beside it, forming a shield. And slowly, a plan, small and fragile, began to take shape in my mind. I would not be just another boy lost. I would be more. The morning air was thick with heat, but I felt a fire hotter than the sun burning inside me. Samuel's words echoed in my mind, that fire will be your only weapon. I had begun to understand. Survival wasn't enough, I had to be smarter than them. Isaac, Samuel whispered as we moved through the fields, keep your head low but your eyes open. Watch how she moves. Study everything. I want to do more than survive, I said, voice barely above a whisper. I want her to pay somehow. He shook his head. Not yet. Observation first. Patience is power. Every mistake you make now will cost you more than you can imagine. Later I was sent into the house again. Madeline's gaze followed me as I carried a tray. Careful, she purred. I don't like broken things. I'll be careful, ma'am, I said, forcing my voice steady. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You're clever, aren't you? Don't hide it too long. I like clever boys. I clenched my fists under the tray, tasting anger like metal. Cleverness would be my weapon, my shield, my revenge. Isaiah appeared in the kitchen, wiping his hands on a rag. She's watching you, he muttered. Better do what she wants. I'm not just surviving, I said, teeth gritted. I'm learning. Watching. Planning. You think you can outsmart her? He scoffed. You're a boy. Don't be foolish. Foolish? I repeated. Maybe. But fools can survive longer than cowards. Clara appeared from the back, eyes wide. Isaac, be careful, she warned. She notices everything. One slip. One slip, I said softly, will be her last advantage. The words felt like a promise. Samuel's voice came in my mind again. Patience. Observation. Fire. I nodded, letting it sink into me. By evening, I had begun small acts. Moving objects, hiding a note, listening for secrets. Every whisper I overheard was another weapon in my arsenal. Every glance from Madeline was a challenge I intended to meet. She's dangerous, Samuel murmured when he found me hiding in the shadows. But so are you. Keep that fire alive, Isaac. Don't let it burn uncontrolled. It will consume you before it consumes them. I understand, I said. I will use it. Not blindly, but carefully. Isaiah's sneer from across the yard stung. You'll regret thinking you're smart. You don't know her. Maybe, I said, voice low, steady. But I'm learning faster than you. And learning is how you survive, Isaiah. Remember that. That night, lying under the stars, Samuel leaned closer. You're ready for small moves now. Watch. Wait. Patience isn't weakness, it's strategy. Every cruel act she commits is a thread. Pull the right one and her web will unravel. I swallowed, feeling a thrill that scared me. I want to pull that thread, I whispered. I want her to see what fear truly is. And you will, Samuel said softly. But first survive. Then strike. Quietly. Smartly. Mercilessly. I clenched my fists, feeling the fire inside flare higher. Fear had been my master, but now anger and cunning were allies. And for the first time, I believed survival could become something more. Revenge, power, and control over the life that had been stolen from me. The house was quieter today, but tension hung like smoke. I moved carefully, balancing a tray of silver. Every step measured. Every breath calculated. Madeline was watching from the staircase, eyes sharp. Isaac, she called, voice soft. Come here. I froze, heart hammering. Yes, ma'am, I said, forcing calm. She leaned against the railing, tilting her head. You're clever, aren't you? I can see it in your eyes. I just do what's asked, I said, keeping my voice low. Do you think hiding your thoughts protects you? She asked, smiling faintly. It doesn't. Boys like you are interesting. Dangerous even. I swallowed, forcing my hands to stay steady. I will be careful. Later, in the servants' quarters, Clara whispered urgently. Isaac, don't let her get inside your mind. She wants control. Don't give it. I know, I said, feeling the fire in me flare. But I've started, small moves. Hiding things. Listening. Watching. She nodded, eyes wide. Be careful. One mistake. I know, I said, voice firm. I won't make mistakes. Isaiah rolled his eyes nearby. Small moves? Don't be foolish. She's smarter than you think. I'm not foolish, I said sharply. I've learned patience. Strategy. I'm not a boy to be played with. Samuel appeared at the doorway, face calm but eyes piercing. Good. But remember, your heart is not a weapon. Only your mind. I understand, I whispered. That afternoon, I began testing cracks in the household. I overheard arguments, noted jealous looks, and planted small seeds of doubt. Hawthorne's arrogance was thin. Madeline's pride was thicker. Both could be used. Clara watched me quietly. You're bold, she said. Careful, bold can be dangerous. I know, I said. Bold is necessary. Isaiah muttered. I still think you're asking for trouble. Maybe, I said, voice steady. But trouble can be directed. Madeline appeared suddenly, hands on her hips. Isaac, what are you thinking? I forced a smile. Nothing, ma'am. Just learning my place. She studied me, lips curling faintly. I'm learning, carefully, I hope. I like clever boys, as long as they stay obedient. I left the room, hiding a grin behind my head held low. Samuel's words echoed. Patience is power. Observation is fire. That night, I shared my thoughts with him quietly. I've started small, Samuel. Disrupting without them knowing. He nodded. Good. The web is thin in places. Keep pulling the threads carefully. And remember, revenge is not strength yet. Patience is strength. I lay in my cot, heart pounding, mind racing. The fear that had once ruled me was no longer a cage. Anger and cunning had taken root. Every word, every glance, every whispered secret was a weapon. For the first time, I felt that survival could become more. I could make her fall without raising my hand. Quietly, smartly, mercilessly. And I would. The house felt different that morning, tense, unsettled. Rumors moved faster than any footman. I kept my head low, pretending to polish silver, but my ears were wide open. Isaac, Clara whispered as she passed, they're talking about her. Madeline. She's slipping. I nodded quietly. I've noticed, I said. My hands shook slightly, but it was excitement, not fear. Patience is working. Samuel appeared behind me. Good. Remember, watch how power crumbles before it falls. Timing is everything. I swallowed, trying to calm the fire inside. I had spent months learning, observing, and now the threads I pulled were pulling back. A sharp scream echoed through the hallway. Madeline's voice, furious. How dare you? I glimpsed her flailing at Hawthorne, papers scattered everywhere. His face was red, rage struggling to hold control. She's losing it, Samuel muttered. Good. Keep calm. Do not act hastily. Isaiah appeared near the doorway, jaw tight. You did this? He hissed. I shook my head. Not yet. But the cracks are showing. Watch and wait. Madeline stormed into the servants' quarters, voice icy. Who told him? Who revealed my secrets? I stepped back, pretending to tidy a broom. Clara caught my eye and I nodded subtly. She smiled faintly, trust shared quietly. She doesn't know, Samuel whispered. But she senses something. Keep her guessing. Madeline's shriek rang out again. Hawthorne was shouting, trying to regain control, but every move he made only made her rage worse. This is unacceptable, she yelled. I let myself breathe slowly. Their arrogance had blinded them. Every cruel act, every manipulation had left them exposed. I had not struck directly, but the house was unraveling because of their own hands. Isaiah muttered nervously, this can't last. No, I said quietly, voice low but steady. It can last. Just long enough for her to see what fear feels like, without touching me. That night, Samuel came to me quietly. See? Patience works. You haven't fought, yet victory grows. Observe plan. Every wrong step she makes is your advantage. I hesitated, heart pounding. I want her to feel it. I want her to understand fear, helplessness, like we felt. Samuel placed a hand on my shoulder. And she will, in time. The house will fall, and she will have no one to blame but herself. Clara appeared again, carrying a small tray. You've done well, she whispered. Stay careful, but the fire, it's yours now. Use it wisely. I smiled faintly, the first real one in months. I've learned more than survival, I said. I've learned power. I've learned patience. And now, I've learned that cruelty always betrays itself. Hawthorne's voice shouted from the hall again, and Madeline's cry followed. Their world was cracking, and I felt no glee, only calm, measured satisfaction. They had thought they controlled everything. But their arrogance, their cruelty, had set the stage for their own ruin. I sat back, heart steady, mind alert. I had endured, I had observed, and I had waited. Soon it would all come together. The fire I had hidden, the fire Samuel nurtured, was ready. And I knew quietly that revenge was not just coming, it was inevitable. The morning air was sharp, clean. I stood at the edge of the plantation, Samuel beside me, Clara behind. The house loomed in the distance, silent now, its cruelty finally exposed. You're leaving? Clara asked softly, eyes glistening. I am, I said. My voice felt strange, heavy with everything I had endured. But I'll carry this fire with me. Samuel nodded. Good. Remember, freedom isn't just the body. It's the mind. Keep that fire alive, Isaac. I will, I whispered. Clara hesitated, then smiled faintly. You've changed. Not just for survival, you've grown. I swallowed. I've learned that fear is a chain, but courage is weightless. And patience is power. Isaiah shuffled behind, avoiding my gaze. You did it, he said quietly. You survived, and they're broken. I didn't do it for me alone, I said. I did it because I had to. Because we all suffer if we let them win. Samuel placed a hand on my shoulder. And you've won more than revenge. You've won yourself. I nodded, looking back at the plantation one last time. Madeline's face, her fury and disbelief, Hawthorne's anger, they would haunt the halls for months. But it was not hatred I felt. Only resolve. Clara stepped closer. "Will you remember us?" she asked softly. "Always," I said. "Your courage, your warnings, they taught me more than fear ever could." Samuel smiled. "Now you take the next step. Out there the world is bigger, but it's also yours. Every choice, every move, it's yours. Don't waste it." I took a deep breath. "I won't. I've waited too long. I've learned too much. And I'm ready." Isaiah muttered, almost to himself, "I don't know if I could have done what you did." "You can survive," I said gently, voice firm. "But you must see the fire inside yourself first. Then, you'll know what to do." The sun rose higher, bathing the fields in gold. I felt a strange weight lift. Chains that had bound my body no longer bound my mind. Every whisper, every threat, every act of cruelty I had endured, had shaped me. And now I was free not just in body but in spirit. Samuel and Clara watched as I took my first steps down the dusty path leading away from the plantation. I didn't look back. Not with regret. Not with longing. Only with memory. "Goodbye," Clara whispered. "Goodbye," I replied, voice steady. "And thank you for showing me that even in darkness, fire can survive." The path ahead was uncertain, but I walked with purpose. The boy who had trembled in fear was gone. In his place was a man who had endured, who had observed, who had waited, and who had survived.